Pokemon Red for the Game Boy Color.
Webkins. That was the first video game I've ever played, Webkins. Oh my god.
League of Legends. Sadly, that was the first game. That's one of the only games that I played. I just enjoy it so much.
Mario Kart 7 on the DS.
No bully.
Probably PGE. Some of the top matches.
Definitely PGE.
Angry Ginge or somebody in that realm, like Speed and stuff, they're pretty funny.
Probably my dorm.
Definitely Birchie.
I think the pond is one of the greatest schools you can play.
The library, it just got renovated and much nicer, much quieter.
Definitely my room.
Probably the IT area in the library.
Yes, I love snowboarding. I've been snowboarding my whole life.
Are you a snow person?
Not really, no. I don't really like the cold a whole lot.
I prefer summer.
Only for playing Snow Day in Rocket League.
No.
Yeah, I love snow.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm from upstate New York.
I love snow. I think it's so fun.
I think I would play, I don't even know. That's the only game that I play.
Probably competitive TF2.
Probably Rivals, you know.
I'd probably just play Trackmania.
I think the culture at Smash is insane. I would love to play Smash.
I'd probably play Madden.
Gotta be Mount Aloysius College, you can't beat them.
Mounties, obviously.
I'm Aloysius, of course.
Oh my gosh, this isn't the question. Mountie Esports.
I mean, gotta be the Mounties, right? The culture here is unmatched.
The Mount Aloysius esports program.
Obviously, Mount Aloysius.
You're looking at it.
Gotta be the Mounties Esports.
Cool.
Hello everybody and welcome to Showtime.
Here at the Sherman Theater out in Stroudsburg, PA.
We put on a show, man. We put on a show.
You have more important things in life to think about than your internet. At BreezeLine, we propel life forward with home internet so reliable, you don't have to think about it. With a team that goes above and beyond, fiber-powered speeds up to 1 gig, and 99.9% reliability at any hour, in any room. You won't have to think about your internet again. Go to breezeline.com for internet that propels life forward.
Here at Mountain Esports, we take it to the next level. Our players have the ability to travel, compete, and even participate on the caffeine committee. Check out the Insta to see what's new with Mountain Esports today.
At the Mount, things are, well, elevated. And it's not just because we're on a mountain. The experience at a small college like Mount Aloysius is actually personal. The faculty and staff know my goals. It's a level of support you won't find at other colleges. And the Mount backs it up with career-focused partnerships and majors. As soon as I visited, it just felt like home. That's what makes this place different. Makes college elevated. Mount Aloysius College.
The first, going to have that trigger discipline, and now barrel in sight. The finding success, the Gecko on Gecko action! As there
well, and we've seen a ton of shorty action today.
Cat is very low, decides to pop the knives. The trail detected off the Nightfall here. Magical, how many you got? There's two. Destroyed. They've got so many players here, and Bruncheon just delays, pulling out the judge, traveling in, and behind him, he will eat. Already a double kill.
As the Spectre was in the hands of yet another defender from out of Mohawk. They're going to find two. So this one finds a lot of value. 3 go down. Becomes a 3 versus 2 to try and be able to get rid of this as they go for the defuse. It's going to be a 2v2 late term. That's going to be Sneaky Squid off the reel.
Paranoia misses. Metal will definitely connect, and there's a shot out of the air. Notice has got themselves a 2K, pulls out the shorty, make it 3. Just cleaning up like a barbecue buffet. Is it 5? No! Rosa shuts them down. Hold on, not quite dead. Yep, it's the ace! Long. We'll put Vanilla in an interesting position. Vandal versus 5 will seek out the Sage and take the headshot. There's 2, and there's the spike.
Y3 lurking on the other side. They're going to pressure through. The spray comes in. Clover finds one. Gets a second as well. Rosa falls in the meantime, but it's a 3-for-1 trade.
Edging so close and near. Just a moment. There's your one up above or 2. Can you get another on top? You do. It's a 4 to tally up to the margin.
Cover as well, giving time, but there's not much time to rotate. They have to try for this one. Ketrin finds 2, gonna find 3. No bullets in the chamber, but Cyber coming to save the day.
Now Stim goes up, that's the null command. Chance now with the Odin to spray through for killed in vain. One player resurrected though. The null command will still be a big nuisance, but the Vandal, not a necessity. The Odin is, and it is barraging the Mannheim side, and all but guarantees Pine Grove send us out of this one.
Week 5 of the PIEA Valorant Fall season is upon us, and we've got 2 great matches ahead of us today. Division 1 to start us off with, and a Div 3 to close out the day. But for right now, this is Anton, joined here by Infernosis on the desk to bring you guys these matches. Infernosis, how you doing this fine afternoon?
Doing pretty good. Really excited to get some Valorant action underway, and it seems like finally these players are as well. To get things started, would have had to go through a bit of a tutorial as it's an Overwatch player subbing in, but hey, that's half the fun of it, right? You get to bring in new blood. Maybe they get to experience what Valorant's like, and it kind of maybe breathe some life into a maybe a real esport into the state of things. I used to cast Overwatch. I used to love Overwatch, so I give it some hate and some slack, but no, I think it's still pretty good. Division 1, all these players are going to be at least somewhat solid, and I feel like with the map pool we had coming into this week, it actually should be a really good game of Valorant, and these teams are actually fairly even matched within Division 1. Both of them are coming off of losses, so I feel like this is the perfect moment, Anton, for a good series.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have to worry a little bit, though, because like you mentioned, one of the players is a little bit new. There were 2 people that unfortunately got sick on Homer Center, so they had to get some subs, and one of them happens to not play the game. So they brought him in.
Main, right? Like, that's their casting main.
Fingers crossed he can pick up Sheriff. Yeah, never know. He could be the best player on the team. Like that'd be kind of crazy to see. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried, but again, we'll have to wait and see. We're getting into the map right now, and speaking of maps, we're going to Lotus first off. I think the bans did happen to be, I forgot to remind myself. We had a Corrode and a Sunset. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So let's see. The player in question that we're talking about as well is Shadowkill. So I'm curious to see what they're going to put him on, because this is a new account, and they only have 5 agents. So I don't really know. I wonder if they're gonna put them on smokes or maybe it's the jet or something. Oh no, they have a gecko. How do they have a gecko?
Do the new agents cycle?
I don't think they do. I don't know. No, they can't.
They could theoretically have Game Pass. I mean, if you have that, you get.
Oh, that's right.
So.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I have that. For
Wait, that's
League.
a game changer.
I do not play League, but I have every.
Yeah.
And my friends are jealous of that. I'm like, well, it's very easy, but.
It is kind of crazy.
It's very. I mean, hey, good deal for those 2 companies involved, right? Right, made a good deal for that. But a lot of the time when we see teams here, it feels like the agent selection comes into a lot of comfort picks. But I'm actually really impressed with their agent selection for our attacking side here. A Reyna on attack is not bad. They don't really have a great duelist to close that gap. But Tejo felt like the end-all be-all agent for the longest time and still has some pretty good virtues and values for attack on the map of Lotus and for gatekeeping on defense. It's just a little bit harder to use those salvos. And you can do plenty of work with a Clove. And you can use, of course, another duelist at a Strike Force to get that gap-closing duelist there with your Jet and having the Tailwind. But what I really am looking at here is this Breach. The value for the Breach with Sneaky Squid is also locked in the opposing side is so good for defense and offense because of how many corners and close corners just generally there are with these walls across C sites and even the paper mache walls on A. It's going to make that initiator's job that much easier to keep that team either holding on or moving on depending on which side of the pitch you're on.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to add on to that fact as well, I think at least for me, Homer Center's comp might be a little bit stronger. At least when they get over the attack. Right now they're on defense, so it might not matter. But Forest Hills, the only thing they don't have is actually an info anyone. They don't have an info sentinel. They don't have an info initiator. So they're really working off the fact that their 2 duelists right now can just walk in with the utility that the Breach is given, and probably the Teo as well. I mean, hell, he's one of the most strong agents that we've seen released in quite a while. But they can just walk in with these agents and just clear house, I guess, and all power to them. If they think this can work, then I'd like to see it happen, especially because I don't know if they know they're playing with 2 subs, but there we go. They're going to be running straight into B site right now with 2 defenders quick, but the Tejo is going to go right in with some salvos, and Strike Force instantly removes the Phoenix from the defense. So this is already looking great for Forest Hills.
Oh yeah, an opening blood at least secures an offensive pressure, but Taters looking to worm their way in now from Waterfall. Great connection to the head of Bacon Lover and a chance for a second, maybe more. The head out just gonna run out of ammo at this rate. Finally it does, and you will see them fall to the hands of Strike Force, but they'd have to get nearly an ace or required of an ace for them to close out that round. But thanks to the chamber for the side of Homer Center, you see their defense come through with round 1. And you talk about lack of information. Well, you don't need it if you just dash into a site very quickly, but you still would like to know where they're coming from, and you just didn't find out fast enough with that waterfall push.
Man, those are some nice shots from Tater, though. I mean, this is one of the guys that I was looking forward to seeing from this matchup. I think there were a couple of names that I wrote down ahead of time, and that's you have Tater being the one guy in Forest Hills that, on Homer Center that I think is going to be the brunt of their firepower. And then on the opposite side, we've got Robotics and Bacon, who I think fulfill a similar kind of role in terms of mechanics, but so far haven't had too much success. I guess, it's hard when you get peeked by Tater with a headhunter. That's the job of the chamber, right? You just gotta look at people and shoot them in the face. So doing that real nice and well. And they gotta maybe try and replicate that same success because they didn't buy a gun. They're the only player on Homer Center that didn't buy anything. So that doesn't actually prove too fruitful for them as they get taken out by Tryhard with the salvo. Nice placement, and this time Forest Hills have taken out the top frag in Homer Center.
A ton of breach utility as well. The Sonic cuts in towards default on box. Spike's already gone down, so if you're Forest Hills, you just need to hold on to it. But a great double swing from up in heaven should have solidified Homer Center a frag or 2, but it's only good for the 1-for-1. And Tryhard can just fall to the second stage backwards, maybe lapping back through defender spawn and work into heaven themselves, but still wanting to sit within the waterfall archway. And unfortunately, because of that, paying the price quickly thereafter. But a big costly round for Homer Center nonetheless. You drop 3 out of the 5 weapons they bring into this round, and then it becomes a bigger question of how the credit's going to pan out. Well, it should still be plenty fine if a Phantom has worked its way into your Harbor's hands. They may actually decide to force up Sheriffs and or Stingers, the remaining 3 that were taken down. I would be shocked if they go for a full buy across it. A lot of what we see here for the PIEA comes down to these players just going in heavy as all get out, ensuring that they're confident, even if they aren't confident that they can do it right. Maybe it's like the number 2 seed versus their 13th seed. You're still going to see that 13th seed come out with full buys nearly every time they can, try to stay coordinated, not really get over themselves too much and play to their strengths. I'm hoping we see the same thing here from Homer Center on the defense.
Yeah, it is only one guy that doesn't have a full rifle right now, and it's Shadow. So I expect that he just didn't, he just doesn't have the sense of the economy just yet. But no matter what, it's still looking all right temporarily. But unfortunately, Shadow was the second person to be defending B with Tater, and it's only the latter that's able to get a kill. And another frag happening inside of B as well. Oh, big flash. Dove doesn't manage to capitalize, but the plant's gone down over on that C site, and there's only 2 defenders left to make that 3 attackers. But Sneaky is in a 1-on-4 right now for this clutch.
You have an easy flash here as a breach, but I just feel like you gotta start to work through these 1v1s, and they're giving you isolated angles, but the timing is a little bit too tight to get Strike Force, who comes from Waterfall, and it will be an attacking round win for Forest Hills, finally in the docket for them. And on top of that, with 7 kills falling for Strike Force through these first 3, they've already got that Blade Storm on lane. They've already got a plenty fine eco ultimate, and in fact, I wouldn't be shocked if they hand that Vandal over to a teammate that was just taken down unluckily at the start of that last round, and give the old Blades a try as they work their way towards an opposing side. With Spike moving towards C, I think C is a great objective for that Jet to come through with the Blade Storm, especially if they actually go for the updraft tailwind into default behind short stack wall to put pressure towards back aside on C.
Yeah, luckily for them, I don't even think they're going to need it. Well, Knife's been popped, but there's no one on the C site right now. It's completely vacant, and more attention being paid to the other side of the map. The Jet's not even with the team. The Jet's pushing towards A, making sure that they have options everywhere. They've just walked in to every site except for B, and just gotten every kill they need. I mean, it's just that simple this round. It wasn't hard at all.
I mean, if it's that simple to explain to, you know, your Overwatch player, stepping over to Valorant, that it's easy to walk into an objective and get kills and just left click, then it feels like Valorant would be in anybody's game. But I do think that the utility for Homer Center set up for C was good for the early start, but a little bit too passive. We saw the Harbor Wall go up to try to close off the C Mountain push. Timing of it was well done, but there was no player emphasis behind the fact, and now we're just seeing this big burn of utility and this overall stall game for Forest Hills in this post plant. And that's exactly what I want to see from an attacking team, that their post plants are well solidified. And even though you didn't get a single kill with your Blade Storm early on that push through to the A sites, the Sheriff seemingly does plenty fine against rifles posed against it, and it will still give Forest Hills that needed 2-2 split. And to make matters even worse, it now gives you plenty of credits to just say, hey, I have an operator for the 5th round on attack, mind you, and it's going to be a pretty disjointed buy once again for Homer Center, who are going to even their credits out hopefully around the 600 to 700 margin, so they can buy up for this next if they lose. But with Spectres and more and SMGs, we've seen some good range firefights from Forest Hills at distance. They may just try to keep that distance equated for their side.
Yeah, and speaking of distance, I mean, like you mentioned, the op for Strike Force, I really like what they're doing here. They're sending the Reyna with the Jet this time, which is different from last round, just in case they accidentally drop the sniper for whatever reason. But Robotics actually going for a little bit of a walk up here. It's a very strong lyric, much stronger than before, but the timing is so unlucky. It's taken out by Tougher as soon as he looks at the back of the breach going into tree, but at least the rest of Forest Hills have made a lot of headway towards that C site, which is yet again, I mean, now is completely vacant after that one frag.
Oh, and Strike Force has to watch their teammates Vandal get collected. Though can start to worm their way through defender spawn and maybe pick off 1 or 2 players. Be with a part where you'd really hope you could get a Vandal. With your spot there of your Harbor, if you're tryhard. You have a little bit of information utility. We talked about this for the side of Forest Hills. Yes, it's not very good, and really the value of it is actually marking and suppressing afterwards. But you have your chance for a 1-on-1. Full flash though. Sneaky Squid forcing them back. Strike Force eventually does connect against Tougher Earth, and a second one because they're not turning their back. You have 2 more go the way of Homer Center. It's all up to Strike Force. The first one misses, but it's 1 HP against Sneaky Squid, rushed by the Classic, and it's Spike being held. But it won't matter. The second 4K for Strike Force so far in this series through 5 rounds alone, and Forest Hills have found their hero to carry and elevate this team to that next level.
Acting fast as well. I mean, he was the only guy on the flank, and somehow one of the only people to find success in that round, because everyone defending the spike just ended up going down. I mean, nice shots from Homer Center to try and get back into the round, but the decisiveness from Strike Force, able to get all the way, wrap around the flank, and I don't know if he lagged the breach towards the end or what happened, but yeah, like you mentioned, 1 HP. All he needed was a pistol shot and just peeks with the Classic at the end of it. I don't know how you have the confidence to use the pistol instead of pulling the op back out, but fair play. Homer Center now trying to make something happen with the momentum they've gotten, because they need some money in their back pocket, right? Other than Tater, no one else is really rich. They're trying to spend that Rolling Thunder to get something outside this A site, but there's a good flash. Is he gonna get traded? Of course he is. Nice shots by Robotics to get that one back.
Yeah, you need to work the eco game on these 1-for-1s. It's something you're willing to give up if you're Forest Hills, because when you give up an inch, you try to take a mile, and you have perfect crossing coverage with this approach. The rendezvous will have to be used here for Homer Center to get a little bit safer, and Tater will use that stairs position to still take down one more. But you have so much coverage downrange with that operator from Strike Force that it puts Delphobia now in the 1v3. These 1vx scenarios are difficult for any player, but Delphobia doesn't have the best kit for this, and they don't know exactly where Strike Force is waiting. This was a player that was kind of unseen but not unheard in the kill department in this round, having such a long-range position to play from, and they've been using that operator in these 1vx scenarios themselves, where you'd expect the weapon to be traded out for something like a Spectre, which we know was dropped on the A site the round before, or the Vandal that they had gotten dropped out of the player's hands that they had just taken down in Defender spawn, but they held on to it, trusting that they wouldn't miss shots that would otherwise cost them their life. And guess what? They've been pretty clean about making sure that if they miss it, the Classic comes out and finishes the dirty work they started.
Yeah, it really is. It's just so oppressive to play against an operator player that is confident with the gun in their hands, because there's almost nothing you can do. If you don't use util, you're just, it's over. It's cooked. Like, it's literally a one-shot kill gun. And here, an interesting little spot for a run it back, but fair play. Robotics gets both the body and the player. But then that's a nice Rolling Thunder to shut down this push. Stun coming out as well. And it's all stalled out. And there's even one player caught in the middle of everything, and that's Shadow, the newest player on the roster.
Ooh, swing for Shadow kill. That's a little bit of information, but how do you act on this? They're just not sure where to move. They don't know where to fire. And that hesitation is a thorn in the side of Homer Center's chances in this round. The man count dissipates. Mini Booper eviscerated on sight from the Vandal of Tater. Who else in Strike Force to close out a 1v2 once again? And they'll have to get more kills on top. Cues up their Tailwind. Doesn't know exactly where these players are. Harbor Wall goes up behind them, and this is maybe something for Tougher Up to work with. Oh, that's a miss for Strike Force. And now you've got a player swinging inside hut lane. It's Tater for the frag, and it's the third round win for Homer Center, making sure this first half stays manageable for them defensively before they transition on to the attacking side of things.
Crucial miss that Strike Force has not made, like, pretty much at all. Like, they have 17 kills in the midst of 7 rounds. That's ridiculous for the kill per round that this guy has been getting. I don't really know how he whiffed that shot, but yeah, I don't want to say that's the round loser, but it definitely doesn't help. Gives away his position, and Tater, being the strongest fragger on Homer Center, is able to just whip around and get the kill, because Strike Force can't figure out which direction to look after that. So well played by the defense. Now, Tater with the Tour de Force is able to get one, almost a collat there, but very nice headshot. A bit of an overkill on the tryhard. That's a great start in the defense, but it gets traded right back on the other side of the map. Strike Force, though, wants to just run it down into B, maybe catch this chamber off guard, but Tater is not the player that you would be trying that against.
Here goes nowhere. Too low for Robotics Master to actually remove the eyesight for Shadow Kill. Let's see to stop Shadow Kill from still missing out on that kill. Dumbphobia pressed hard here for the roster of Forest Hills when he secured that kill. The Robotics Master, who's been somewhat taking a back seat, it feels like, for Forest Hills in the kills department. It's not getting a duelist, decides, I want a 4K just the same. If anything my other duelist can do, I can do just as good, if not better. And now you've got your 2 fraggers up at the top of your leaderboard thanks to this last round. And you've got ultimates aplenty, and this is something that we've seen Homer Center trying to use as a great way to elevate the team defensively. Saw Sneaky Squid a couple rounds before, send that off through A main in hopes to win the round. That didn't work out. The run it back obviously failed. The Tour de Force didn't give enough of a lead for Homer Center out of Tater. So what do you need for the side of Forest Hills? Well, it doesn't seem like much, but you have 4 out of your 5 to work with still in front of you for the remainder of these halves.
And 2 of those 4 actually get popped immediately. Bladestorm again for the Jets. No gun to drop this time, so no teammate to help them out towards A. But last time, at least this didn't work out too well for the Bladestorm, but they got kills with the Sheriff, so maybe they can find the same thing again. Tater having success on the other side of the map. This time the Blades do find their target, and Tater also gets traded out. So I would say this is a big win for Forest Hills, having opened up both sides of the map and gotten onto C-Site with more kills than they need. But Duphobia does trade it out at the end and drops the spike before he goes down himself.
Wow, Duphobia getting that at that distance with a Spectre from deep in Waterfall is genuinely impressive and a very good connection. Now Sneaky Squid, though, still has to do a 1v2. More manageable, though, with the frag that you did see Duphobia get. With this Vandal in hand, they're primed with a good weapon forward, and as an initiator, you've got a lot of util in that back pocket that should do you well. But a well-timed swing by Robotics Master to counter-read the wall flash will secure another round for Forest Hills. And you could see the hesitancy from Strike Force there. I don't know if you're keeping an eye on that Bladestorm usage off in A. They were being very cautious with those being sent out against Shadow Kill, not trusting in that whatsoever. The slowest blades you could ask for. But, you know, if they were missing them before, you know, it's plenty fine. You just need to make sure enough of them connect and make sure you don't get double swung. It's good for Strike Force, and it's good for Forest Hills to get a guaranteed even half going forward, and there's 3 rounds left to try to widen that margin even further.
I'd imagine they do even better as well, because they have almost no weapons on the side of Homer Center, and that's not going to be a great start. Of course, can't really blame them too much, not too used to the gun mechanics in this game, but yeah, swinging out with a Spectre at that kind of range, and with the door not open as well, there's no potential for a crossfire here. So these guys from Forest Hills are just content with walking straight up to the spike site. Strike Force, though, gets taken out on the other side of the map, and they've forgotten their spike and spawn. So even though they've taken a site, this might be a bit of a dicey round for them still.
Especially because, I mean, this was an eco round, a full save coming out here of Homer Center. I mean, they had a classic on site. It did good for damage, right? They got a nice right click to the head, but it feels like we're now just seeing Homer Center unfortunately fall into this false lull of really the connotation, the idea of where Forest Hills is, and they're just hunting for frags. There's nothing else they can do. They don't have the spike, like you mentioned. It's still an attacker spawn. Tougher Arthur Bob will finish off Not Try Hard, who their teammate just before got that nice classic right click to the head. Tougher Earth, though, just aiming a bit too low and maybe a bit too awry, and it will unfortunately lead to Forest Hills eking out a very close round despite the major gun difference in that round. Just barely eking it for their favor, but it does make it so they're not just positive at halftime here, Anton. They are above and beyond now with their 7, and with 2 more rounds left to go, and still ultimates in their back pockets. Keep in mind that Armageddon is exceptionally powerful, and Mini Booper can guarantee there's an extra player on the field, right? It feels like Forest Hills may just get to 8, if not 9, if Homer Center can't start to kick it up here into high gear.
Yeah, they're definitely looking good. I mean, they're looking for just a straight up 5-man A push right now. I mean, there's no lurk, there's no nothing. Gecko is actually walking out of the B site. So whether Shadowkill understands the importance of what he's doing or not, he's doing it. So these guys should understand where this push is coming from. Robotics gets a trade after Sneaky Squid, excuse me, takes out one of his teammates and tries to follow up on that, but Duphobia trades it back in kind, and there goes some of the salvos to try and make sure that he doesn't stay on this angle. And Strike Force, even with the flank, kind of does confirm for both teams that everyone from Forest Hills is holed up into this A site. With this plant down, it's time for Homer Center to try and encroach back onto it.
Yeah, and the great thing is, as long as Strike Force stays still stalwart back in A main, and they've moved up towards Cubby, so there is a chance they could get taken down. You can always revive here as Mini Dove, and so that's kind of the idea for Mini Booper. They'll eventually have it ready. There it goes, going up. Where will they fall back to? There's your cover for Strike Force to attempt, but it's just a way to stall. Strike Force is traded for a Phantom, and that's given them enough leeway to edge over for that kill. And Tougher Earth, just unfortunately still slightly moving as they try to send those Vandal shots towards this Jet. And the Phantom comes out on top for, I think, their 4th 4K, it feels like, in this half alone. And they will get to 8, and it will be another round coming forward for Homer Center, where yes, you will have rifles in their hand, but it's just not doing them enough justice, and they have so many ultimates. This is what you have to look towards. You've been holding on to them. Use it or lose it here, folks. They do not carry on with you into that second half.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that Entator isn't dropping one of his rifles over to maybe Tougher Earth or Shadowkill. I mean, okay, maybe one of them I can understand, but at least probably give a Vandal to the Harbor over here, because he's got the Tour de Force, which he is pulling out towards C right now. Unfortunately for him, he's not gonna have a target, because Forest Hills are doing the same thing. They're just walking straight towards this A site. with machine gun at their back, which they probably dropped because they had extra money in this last round. But if they get flanked, that could prove to be an issue, especially because Homer Center is holding down the site quite nicely. That one's a bit dicey. Not able to get the second or third, though, as they get doubled up in kind. And Forest Hills now with the advantage and maybe even trying to extend that in spawn.
Phobia's peeking a 1v1. They could have easily used the run it back there after they got the initial swing for intel against not try hard, but they're holding on to it. Just can't forget you have it. Shadow Kill is going to come in from attacker side spawn. We've seen Strike Force be wary of this constantly, but now that they're only the 1 of 2 remaining, Shadow Kill is being a little bit more cautious, readying out a little bit of util. Gecko's a plenty fine option for a newer player. I actually would recommend this agent as one for players stepping into it, but it's a little bit harder to read the utility as a whole. Delphobia will go for a quick use of the curveball and a dash out for Strike Force in an attempt to get the melee. That is a little bit less hesitant than we saw the Blade Storm from before Anton, but they went in hard and heavy. But it's Forest Hills coming through the first half heavy-handed with 9 curled in their fist, and they're looking to send a couple more blows towards Homer Center to start the second half.
Yeah, this is looking very, very good for Forest Hills. Homer Center now on the attack. I did mention ahead of time that I think their comp as a whole is probably a little bit more, at least conventional, than Forest Hills, but at this point I don't know if it matters. I'm gonna be real, it's hard to ignore Strike Force being at the top of the scoreboard with 23 frags, and Tater is quite close, but Strike Force has a teammate to help him out, and that's Robotics, who was very, very quiet towards the beginnings of the game. I think he was 2-5 at some point or something like that. I think he started 0-3, and now he's 14-7. So finally having woken up, it's kind of looking a little bit unstoppable, but luckily for them, Tater is able to get both of them. Again, it's just like round number 1. In the first pistol, it's Tater taking out the top 2 fraggers on the side of Forest Hills, which means I think they're going to actually end up winning both pistols.
Does seem like we're going to see Homer Center go that way, especially when Tough Earth gets one more. And Mini Booper has a mountain to climb in front of them. Tryhard, though, is at least making some wiggle room and making it manageable, but just the damage isn't really there for Mini Booper to secure yet another to make this job easier. 45 HP in a Dream. A Ghost could do plenty of damage at range. With Delphobia, arguably the best fragger for Homer Center, still standing, that is just going to be too tough of a hill to climb, too tough of a task to do. And Forest Hills will, once again, like you had mentioned, give up a pistol round once over. And Homer Center, keep in mind, over half of their round wins in that first half came off of the pistol and the bonus that came afterwards. So starting off again, this could be a momentum point for them, or it could just be what we saw Forest Hills do in that first half where the first 2 go wrong and they make the recovery and a large spree thereafter.
Yeah, well, one of the weaknesses that Forest Hills might have with the type of, I don't know, it's not even composition, it's the player dynamic that they have right now. The fact that Strike Force and Robotics are so top heavy in terms of frags, it's good that they're spreading out these 2 players now this time, not running both towards C, because they need as much coverage as possible. Because if Homer Center just read it perfectly and somehow pick the site with neither of them on it, that gives them a lot bigger chance to win these kinds of rounds. And especially now where Robotics doesn't have a gun, can't really help too much. So Tater just walks straight in. Rest of the team gets the plant down. Delphobia even follows up on that with a kill. This is looking very good for Homer Center. They're going to need to keep this up in the rounds following.
Tougher. No one saw that. Don't worry, buddy. No one witnessed the first 4 shots missed. But Not Tried eventually does go down in Strike Force. We've seen a lot from them, but we have yet to see that ace. And that would have been required of them to get Forest Hills that double digits and keep Homer Center off of 5. Just 4 rounds now as a buffer between these 2 squads, and rifles will finally start to fall in the hands of Forest Hills. And I talked a little bit about round 3 of this series, where we saw Homer Center have a couple weapons get dropped. We said they're going to go in with rifles for round 3. They did in fact do so, but you didn't really lose anything this last round, and so you have even more of a foot to stand on in terms of picking up rifles for players that maybe didn't have them in the round before. So 4 mainstay rifles out of the hands of Homer Center, 3 Vandals and a Phantom, and a Guardian for 1 more will secure a very aggressive frontal assault where Forest Hills don't have that like typical Sentinel you see for holding on to an objective. They really just have a lot of sightline denial util as a way to gatekeep, which makes this defense a lot harder because you don't have something like the Vise for Razor Thorn, something like the KJ for utility to swarm and take damage on their approach in. This is a very front facing with hopes that the duelists will eviscerate sightlines with a Leer and or Cloudburst to close off sightlines, or hope that that breach gets over there in time to make sure you can make good work against a forward front push like Homer Center have, and also work those flanks because you've got Mini Booper working through attacker spawn.
That's a little bit awkward at this point. I mean, they're not completely penned in here, especially as they get the kill on a tryhard. They're getting peeked from ahead of them, however, and there go the top fraggers for the side of Forest Hills. Robotics with 2, Lear out. I mean, it looks like they just want to end this round right here and now. Vandal now picked up. This should be all done and dusted for Homer Center, not having any answers other than what they had to show for them ahead of the round, because they got 1 kill towards B side when the door opened, and that was pretty much it. Everyone else understood that they were completely hemmed in. I did mention that they weren't literally, but they didn't opt to really go backwards, so they put themselves in a little bit of a barrel, and Forest Hill is just ending up shooting guns into it.
You have multiple directions to work through, right, in Valorant. That's one of the great appeals to an attacking team, is you can really dictate where you go. It's up to the defense to, reflect and adjust upon that, and it's your game to play. And we didn't really see Homer Center in that round make full adjustments, right? They committed to something and they wanted to stay committed to it, which it's fine to be a little non-committal. It's fine to default. It's fine to poke and prod for that first kill. And we've not really seen either of the two teams go for something like that. We saw the solo heroics, which is normal for Lotus, for typically your Vipers to do so and Vices to do so on attack, but coming out of Shadow on the offensive on the Jets. We have, besides that, it's really just been a battle of getting these kills and playing frags once they start to push toward the site.
Oh, that's pretty incredible that the Chamber got a repeat here, and even more so that they don't go down from Bacon's wild spam, but the rest of the team has encroached upon them, and behind them sits Robotics, second top of the team. Unfortunately, the Jet has gone down, so they don't have the firepower of Strike Force that they have been relying on so far to get so many of these rounds, but they do have locations of pretty much the entirety of Homer Center pretty much on lock, and Tater is still alive. Can't forget this guy over towards Homer Center. 27 frags, is even out fragging Strike Force right now, so he is no joke, nothing to be laughed at. Tougher Earth even chiming in to some kills as well, so Bacon Lover leaving him last alive on the site. Probably not the player that you want for the clutch, but Untater with this op also misses the shot, so perhaps still a chance.
Oh, they move that spike over fast towards B, and Bacon Lover has to watch for this cut through door, as you do still have Tougher Earth watching there. That rope audio cue may be very audible still from that position, so you see Tougher Earth going through staircase instead, and Bacon Lover will need to check this angle, because if they don't, they'll forfeit their life quickly. There's the headshot flick to Tougher Earth, just the 1v1 now, and Intator has wormed their way out of B side and into Defender's spawn, and Bacon Lover will have to try to clear every conceivable angle, and thankfully as an initiator, it's not a hard task to do, but there's so many of them to work through, it feels like an impossibility. You've now fully checked through main, you've checked through short door. The question is, are they back through in Waterfall, or are they in the space you came from in upper side heaven? And Bacon Lover is having a bit of a moment there, but the timing will be gone anyways for the defuse, and Intator will secure that they get a 4K in this round to save Homer Center from an otherwise, loss once again to get Forest Hills one round closer to series point.
Yeah, it's a bit scary what Homer Center are doing every single one of these attack rounds. They're no defaults. They're just walking 5-man to a site. So Forest Hills have caught on to that fairly quickly, but luckily for them, luckily for the former, Homer Center have Ventator. Like, he can just get them out of any scenario. And of course, there was a couple missed shots towards the middle of the round, but Forest Hills giving them more chances. The Teo just peeking stairs twice, and even being able to run all the way to B after the breach doesn't manage to chase them down. Taters is one of the linchpins on the side of Homer Center, is probably one of the bigger reasons why they have a chance in this match, but that is not a great start, as I'm singing some praises. He gets taken out immediately by the Empress on the other side, and Robotics is just going on fire, wanting to end the round by himself, gets all 5. That is a clean ace from Robotics Master.
Well, the bigger question we saw coming through after round 7, I believe, was who was going to end up being the top frag between Strike Force and Robotics Master. And I think you were already at 17 if you were Strike Force by the time we saw Robotics Master start to key it in. But with an ace on the docket for you, that's 5 kills closer in margin. And now it's just 3 between the two. But we're running out of rounds at which Forest Hills, if they're getting these kills so cleanly, to make a recovery. And Intainer still somehow is the player that is leading all of the kills in this entire series. 29 and 13, 4 more than both Forest Hill's best fraggers. And the pressure is on to make this attack that much more fruitful. But speaking of pressure, look how far forward Bacon Lover is, and it secures the 3 early. Maybe even a 4th, but the flank is coming from the double duelist, and Robotics Master is 2 more closer to Strike Force.
That is decisiveness from the entire team of Forest Hills. Like I mentioned, they adapted fast, right? They understand that Homer Center is just running as a ball into whatever site they're going to. So as soon as they hear all this util towards A, they throw it back at them. They just flashpoint through the wall, stun, aftershock, everything. These guys, the Homer Center can't move forward, or they're just gonna die. So they have to just sit there. And luckily for Forest Hills, I mean, Bacon Lover has the mechanics to make that miracle play at work. Anyways, he hasn't been playing too hot so far. It's really been Strike Force and Robotics that have been taking all the kills. But they have the flank coming in from both the Jet and the Reyna, walking on a B and C every round, just like this. They just walk forward. They don't care. They're so confident. Are we gonna see another ace here? There's no way. All he needs is one, and it's Forest Hills with 2 aces in the final 3 rounds to secure the map 13-6.
That is, well, we were asking the question so over and over again, who was going to end up being the top frag, and I guess they got a little bit too close for Strike Force, and they decided, not only am I going to get an ace to widen what was only a 1-kill lead at that point over Robotics Master, but I'm going to get a 1-kill lead over the otherwise leading fragger of Intator, who was at 29, and make sure that I am 30 and 10, a 3.0 KD, and you still only had a 107 econ rating. Like, this is a crazy stat line and a very impressive showcase for not just this team, but for the players themselves as well. And Shadowkill was even able to squeak out a good kill with the Spectre, 3 rounds before the final round went underway. That was one that was in a moment where you have a giant brawl inside of A main on the push through to site. You're really concerned about where everything is. What's the old meme from Valorant? He goes, yeah, guys, I know exactly what's going on. It's the old bind clip from up above, and it's like 50 pieces utility. That's what Lotus A main feels like, especially with the type of utility that was in your hands of Forest Hills, right? With a lot of sightline denial util that's very front facing. So they're having to deal with this, and they're still able to make movement, probably make call outs, get some shots out, get a kill here or there, right? So, hey, welcome to Valorant. Have you discovered a new love for esports? We'll have to see, but you know, it's at least different than Overwatch, and you got to experience it here against a really funny team.
Isn't it that like everyone memes that Valorant is becoming more like Overwatch? Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we attract more players. Who knows? We'll see if he comes back next time. I'm not entirely sure, but for now, we hope you guys come back after the break, because this was a heck of a barn burner. I mean, it was fast, but I didn't expect for it to be so exciting towards the end. But we're going to give players a little bit of time to take a break as we get the next match set up. But for you guys in the audience, thank you so much for watching so far. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I've never felt motivated than now. Dreams collide in sleepless nights. Stars explode through blinding lights. Victories found in the fight. I'm on top, my soul ignites. Life's a game, we learn the rules. Twist and turn like misfit fools. Through the pain we break the chains. Find the win through loss and gains. I've got a heart that's never quitting. In this race I'm always sprinting. Feel the power, victory sings. Born to conquer, spread my wings. Castles built on hope's foundation. Rivers run with pure elation. Through the storm I'll find my way. Triumph shines like break of day. Tides may turn, but I remain steady, strong, won't yield to pain. In the end the truth will show. Strength and heart, the seeds we sow. I've got a heart that's never quitting. In this race I'm always sprinting. Feel the power, victory sings. Born to conquer, spread my wings. tides may turn, but I remain steady, strong, won't yield to pain. In the end, the truth will show. Strength and heart, the seeds we sow. I've got a heart that's never quitting. In this race, I'm always sprinting. Feel the power, victory sings. Born to conquer, spread my wings.
But I never really knew that it was over, till the quiet and the echoes became colder. And I never really knew that it was over, till the quiet and the echoes became colder. You took my love and gave it back. It's yours to leave, but it won't keep me from this heart. And I'll try to carry on again, but I never really knew that it was over.
after a spicy map one where Forest Hills swept Homer Center off their feet in a flurry of petals on the map of Lotus, that now happens to be the map that first goes on the board for a second match of the day. This is still Anton, this is still Infernosis here to bring you guys West Greene taking on Ephrata Esports on the sunny coastline of LA in Sunset. Or excuse me, yeah, Sunset. I don't know why I hesitated there.
You talk about Petals, and I get it because of the map of Lotus, but I feel like Petals is a little bit more keen on the Petals of the Metal style of Petal here, because they just, when the going got into it, they just sprinted to that finish line and revved that engine straight through as fast as they possibly could. And there was no brick wall to stop them, unfortunately, and it led to a pretty clear-cut victory for them at the end of this one. How will this one pan out down in Division 3? We'll have to see, but this is a set of players that are really excited to get this one underway, especially on a map that isn't one we typically do see. Actually, I think I've seen this one quite a bit here for the PEA, but I'll be honest with you, sometimes it's a little bit hit or miss for the players themselves, because we do have a lot of really favored players who like to play specific agents. They like to lock in, they like to one trick, which is totally fine, but it can cause a lot of problems for a map that requires a pretty strict style of agent or utility consumption style of agent, like needing that breach. We talked a lot about going into Lotus and how good that breach was. It feels like breach is a necessity for this map, but just how many corners once again are required to go through, especially when it comes to defending that A side and how much domination you can have when using that.
Yeah, Galaxy Walker hears exactly what you're saying. Zippy as well. I mean, fair play to both teams understanding the importance of this utility. But once again, Ephrata, this time, excuse me, this is West Greene, if I'm correct. Yeah, West Greene starting on the attack. They're deciding a little bit, right? They're taking some time, but either way, they're either going to be lacking that breach that you mentioned, or they're going to be lacking information utility. Again, they have a Cypher this time, so it's not as egregious as last game. But yeah, it's interesting to see how many teams in this kind of league decide to not bring information util, either in the form of, like, I don't know, Sova Sky or with some kind of Sentinel, or this time we do have a Cypher. But still, it's not really that kind of attacking or offensive type of utility that you'd see with some of the more like Flash Initiator or something like that. And this, they don't even opt for either. They actually opt for double Senti, double Duelist. And yeah, they have 0 initiators on the side of West Greene. This is, I'm a little bit skeptical, but I'm curious. I'm gonna wait and see what we're gonna see here.
Wait and see, huh? Well, we got at minimum here, Anton, 13 rounds of Valorant in front of us. Gotta go. So there'll be plenty of time to see. Now, it will be the side of West Greene starting off on attack, which will scream to me that their double duelist selection of having that Reyna and ISO, which is a very utility-heavy attacking composition in my eyes. Well, yes, the Reyna more so is kind of a Leer demon these days. It just kind of feels like that's where the primary point of emphasis is. It feels like Reyna has turned into a, hey, I'll get my kill, I'm going to start using utility, and that feels like where a lot of the value is, especially with the post-update or post-patch where guns is that much more important, right? For just overall state of Valorant, utility has been nerfed to all Waywind. It means that Reyna on the gun department is that much more solid, but you're treating that Reyna as a way to initiate your secondary duelist into that space using the Leer. It's really hard to close the gap, though, because you have no utility that actually gets you there, like a Neon would with a quick use of the overdrive, or it's not the overdrive, but, you know, quick use of the dash in, sprinting in, and then using your slide, jet with your tailwind, you know, all this utility that closes gaps. You don't have that here for West Greene, which could make their offense hard, but again, with a lot of offensive utility, weighing close sight lines would be a great way to start things off on the right foot.
Yeah, Cherry, though, trying to take a fight at the back of the site. Silverhand removes him from the equation. Plant trying to go down, and it's probably going to be successful. Galaxy is going to face plant straight into the Sage Wall. Rio with the first response, maybe even a second. It's a bit tight on that fight, but Mine with a follow-up frag for West Greene makes this look like it's all there around. Twist needs to go all the way back, doesn't want anything to do with his A main. Tries to regroup with Galaxy Walker over inside of Market, but this is still going to be real tough as everyone is coming back into it, leaving the 2 Sentinels watching their backs. And the time is still ticking ever so low. I don't think West Greene are looking to give this round up at all. Galaxy Walker maybe even, he can get some exits, if anything. There is at least another alt orb for him to find. Any kill at this point would be very, very helpful. It is the breach, like you mentioned, utility is so impactful. So 3 alt orbs to close it out, and even Dane getting taken out completely, maybe not having that much utility to take over to the next round, so it doesn't really matter. But Ephrata losing the first to West Greene, not entirely a clean round, but still able to eke it out.
Yeah, and Ephrata have Cherry J in the roster, and they're a very clinical player. I mean, they do talent for Valorant, right? So they have a good read on the game, they have a good understanding. So I'm not surprised. I'm very surprised they're playing Neon of all things. Sorry, Cherry. I'm not surprised that this team has a more normalized composition, right, for this roster going into any map. So seeing them with a agent selection that feels more fitting or more fulfilling for the map is not shocking, but seeing the pistol round go the other way for West Greene isn't that shocking, considering how they were able to get space onto side, get control over it in the way they were able to hold on to those post-plant angles. And that's the right way you need to perform, especially for a map as typical this, where attack becomes a bit of a tumultuous battle and an uphill climb that a lot of people just struggle with. And speaking of struggles, there's one to keep your head on your shoulders. A struggle there for Rio Burb, as they're the first to fall, and the team is having trouble staying alive after the fact as well.
All right, Cherry, a bit impressive that he manages to get that dink onto the stage even after stunning himself there with the neon stun. And is he able to get back into it? He's the only one left alive, so he's gonna have to. Is he gonna have to ace to win this round? I'm not entirely sure. No, not quite, but still doesn't get a chance to, as Radicus, with the Ares of all guns, takes over the next round with his Sage left alive as well. 2 rounds for West Greene, 2 people to take their weapons and armor over, and Ephrata now with fairly strong anti-bonus, but West Greene with just the same as well on their own side.
Yeah, well, what is the mainstay? We talked a little bit about round 3 and round 16 in the first half. This is no, Cherry. This cannot be the call. The call is coming from inside the house. This cannot be the call. This cannot be the call.
What?
3 Odins. This isn't Lotus. The map isn't made of paper mache. You can't do this to me. This is unreal. But Cherry will go in deep into B main. The ISO double tap won't matter at all if the Odin sprays 100 rounds at 7.62 directly into your diaphragm. Cherry J also watching as one more player, Atticus, weasels their way into close copy on B main. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if West Greene opt to pivot away from this site, layering up that dark cover just to make sure they can fight for the ult orb and get it, yes, and then rotate the heck out of dodge on B and maybe head towards mid and set up for a more default, because they went very just flat into that B side, and now they're paying the price here in this next moments.
Yeah, they're really not happy about finding the second Odin of 3 in this round. They haven't even witnessed the last one yet over towards that A site. But what choices do they have? They don't really have an option to not go where one of these guns are. Ball goes up a little bit too late, but even still, it doesn't matter. It gets shot down immediately, but Zippy, nice bullet in the Cherry J's head, gets that plant down in the hands of Radicus and even readies from the shadows, able to get all the way back into spawn. Probably not exactly where he wants to be, but does spot out one of the players over on the defense trying to get back into the round. But Kebab now finally reveals the last Odin and takes care of dodge. Only one left alive up against a lot of ammunition over on the other side, and there's nothing for Dane to show about it. It is a very easy round for the 3 machine guns on the side of Ephrata.
Galaxy, what are you doing? Wingman needs something. He needs this. This was needed. My goodness. Keep in mind that the timer for Gecko has been increased by such a large margin, as a lot of all initiation utility has. So poor little guy doesn't get very many chances to shine these days, Anton. So you strip that away from them. We now will remember that until the end of time, Galaxy Walker. But yes, it is a round win nonetheless, and West Greene's offense didn't really have a way to absolve the pressure early. Obviously, Cherry J getting that first blood off the Odin started to feel like you were forcing West Greene over towards the A site, but they still opted to just go for the 2-2 split to drive through to the B site. And I don't really see very many pivots at all for them here towards A. They are completely avoiding that line of sight, which is maybe the right idea, knowing that a breach is online here for Ephrata to secure and deny so much of that pressure towards the A side, as I talked about the breach being so darn good for the map of Sunset.
It's a 1-for-1 down inside a mid. They do take out one of the machine guns over towards the hands of mine. In Rio, I think. But there's still another one. Cherry's still possessing that, but Radicus plays their own game. He picks up one of those MGs and tries to make things work with it. And it looks like West Greene can play exactly what Ephrata wants. There is a response. Cherry so far has gotten every single kill for the team. It'd be kind of interesting to see him get an ace in this kind of round, but it's still a little bit of ways. The spike has been dropped top mid, so West Greene have to make a little bit of trek to try and find it. They have no idea where Cherry has gone off to at this point, and I don't think that she's got any idea where West Greene are either, as it's been enough time for them to pretty much have gone anywhere on the map and even take the spike. They could opt to go to A if they want to, and I think that might trigger that decision. Yes, it exactly does. Sage takes a second to make that assumption as well. But with this read, Cherry has every idea where they're going to, but he can't land the shots with so many bullets flying down range. Not enough of them land, and Zippy is able to style on him.
That is just such an unfortunate fight to try to go into, and West Greene will use that intel to go, okay, well, yes, Cherry J is a bit of a threat, but if we just ignore them and maybe keep that honest, we can definitely focus up and get our kills and come away with victories. 3-1 our score right now on the offense has had so much emphasis towards B, but you're looking at what it could mean for the moments going forward. And Ephrata, let's be frank here, are starting to still leave those 3 players on the A site when I would honestly expect them to put more pressure down here towards Pillar and Courtyard. And we do see that coming from Cherry J with the overdrive. It gets one, hoping for a second, not too far around the corners. A Marshall shot for mine, but it may not matter. I still uses a kill contract, narrowly missing Cherry J, and it was entirely focused on them, mind you. And it's gonna lead Cherry J to not just another kill, but possibly a 4th on top as they're left with just 5 HP in an Ephrata defense that has the player advantage by a wide margin now as they get assistance from the rest of the team moving in.
All right, I don't think there's going to be an ace in this kind of round. He's run out of the overdrive completely. Zippy with a response and a heal on the Silverhand. So this is still a very doable round for West Greene, especially if they go running in like that. It's only 1 left alive for both squads, but Kebab has the LMG. Remember, the Odin, it cannot be stopped, and it's all down to Ephrata to win another round with the LMGs.
Well, there it is. Ephrata can secure themselves a victory, and a lot of that's going to come off the back of having Cherry J with that overdrive, and you're expecting it from a duelist, but a good transition for the 2 remaining players that joined in alongside them from A defense through attacker spawn into B main lobby. Very well done to take and vie for map control, and that's one of the big talking points I make a lot of times here in Valorant. There's 3 territories of Valorant territory. Your attacker control, your defender control, and no man's land. And as a defending team, there are some maps where you just need to vie for no man's land. That is your value point, and attacking teams have to play into it no matter what. But there are some maps where you don't have to, and this one feels like one where you don't have to, but we see that pressure coming out here from Ephrata, and it is paying out, but they are sometimes making a couple mistakes on their approaches forward, but this round, despite those, are still coming away the victor in these frags.
Oh my god, Cherry, I mean, yeah, it's about time, right? Cherry is feeling himself. There's a lot of confidence on the side of Ephrata right now. She's 13-5 at the top of the scoreboard. I think more kills than the rest of the team combined, if I did the math correctly. And yes, 4-3-3-1 for Kebab, Galaxy, Twist, Rio. So Cherry's doing quite well. I don't think they're looking to stop either. We see the sprint straight into that mid wall. I mean, this, I'm a little bit scared for West Greene at this point because they have the Sentinels, right, on the attacking side, but it's on the attacking side, so it's a little bit harder to set up and just understand where Cherry's coming from every single round. But I mean, at least they walk down mid round after round, so I guess there is something for West Greene to read there. But that's going to be a future round because they still haven't set up any kind of Sentinel utility. It's all up to Cherry, peeking down bottom mid, and that is the bigger machine gun, so she does win the fight against Mine, and Rio follows up on the kill as well over towards A main, or B main, excuse me.
Keep in mind as well that Cherry is still talking constantly about misspelling obnoxious and thinking that them now getting a ton of kills is enough to do that, but to move on from it, Radicus all ratting all the way back through defender spawn, but keep in mind, this player had Spike. They had Spike! Your 2 other players are deep down in bottom mid on attacker side. Why is your Spike carrier wielding this all the way through defender spawn? No matter the case, that's now in a territory that seems unclaimable. It's a 3 versus 2. You can stabilize a very well done crossfire here if you're Ephrata, but they'll have to still watch here through Boba, as it will be Dane +1 working their way through. There's your first connection, and it feels like the second is doomed to fall after. Rio Blur will get 4 kills in this round and a very solid start to the defense as they're making a 3-in-a-row spree of things to maybe get the lead and hold on to it, hoping to etch closer and closer to that guaranteed even half of 6.
That's the respect showed in chat as well. I mean, yeah, I mean, for sure, nice shot by Rio. Good transfer towards the end to close out that round, and now Ephrata up with 4 ults. This is a bit of a scary situation for West Greene, especially. I don't think they're going to make the same mistake again, let's be honest. Radicus not having a From the Shadows, not having any kind of wide range TP. I don't think they're going to drop the spike and defender spawn a second time in a row. But it's up to West Greene to keep that one safe because he's jumping down in the mid right now. This is not entirely the best showing. They've known that Cherry J likes to walk down this mid lane every single round for the past who knows how long. And the wall is not going to last with this machine gun on the other end of things. So if this res wants to go through, they have to try and protect them somehow. Slow is going to go out and Cherry is going to get out safely. So it does look like they are... Well, it would have been safe, but they opt away from the res because they're getting flanked from A as well. They're getting pushed all the way into this B site with ISO isolated inside this mid position.
I mentioned it before, you don't really have to fight for map territory as a defending team, but Ephrata decide to do so, and it's paying dividends. West Greene now we're left with just 2. Rio Blurb coming in to flank onto Zippy. Really not a necessity when Cherry J is there. Dane gets a good connection to the head of Cherry J, but the player had really taken no damage to that point, and you're only wielding a Spectre, and you're already at that medium range distance where it may not do so much for you. 4 rounds now in a row for Ephrata, and the defense is coming through. And West Greene have, yes, maybe a little annoyed at the 3 Odins that are being brought out. They even said, you know, good job to Rio Blurb in that last round for not using an Odin and crutching on it. But what it takes to win is what it takes to win. And technically speaking here, Anton, that is the only weapon that didn't get buffed. Every other gun in the game got buffed in this last patch. It is the only weapon that did not get buffed. So technically speaking, that meant it was totally balanced, right?
Yeah, in fact, it might even be the weakest weapon in the game right now. Who knows? It's going to peak, and that's a double headshot at Silver Hand. I mean, the Phantom could have done that, right? Same kind of deal, double headshot at that range. Not a big deal, but I wouldn't imagine West Greene feel the same way right now because they are not having too much success ever since Ephrata have been pulling these machine guns out. And they're just keeping 3 across the board, pretty much a 1 in each lane. And this time, Cherry doesn't opt to walk down mid, but holding down that market is in a very similar position. But these guys are walking down A. They've got 2 LMGs here. Twist with the rifle is the one that gets that kill, but the suppressing fire is gonna completely disallow anyone from trying to walk up, and Cherry even walks out of B. And this is absolutely a disaster for West Greene. They can't find any footing with these bullets flying down range on the other end of things.
It's a literal blender, right? And I think that's the style that Ephrata are trying to work with here defensively. Will this pan out on offense? It's a lot harder to use that Odin offensively because you need to be holding angle with it more times than not. It's harder to swing with. I see the occasional player, you know, forfeit their life here for Ephrata's defense on these pushes and you know, map territory vouches. So I don't expect to see it come through into that one, but you're also looking at Cherry, who has 19 kills, is a Neon, who's very mobile, and has been wielding the Odin the entire time. So it very well may work for Ephrata when it transitions over to that attacking side, but that will be in 3 more rounds before we see it, and there's still a chance for West Greene to make a big recovery through to tie this 6-6, and they get the right foot forward, making sure that Radicus takes down Twist.
Gun may be spotted from Cherry here. I'm not entirely... Yeah, they 100% they know that Cherry's just sitting in this corner. Odin might be a little bit longer than just a simple Vandal, so position finally given up for once, and it looks like West Greene heard exactly what you're saying. Want to return the favor of everything that Ephrata has been giving to them the past couple rounds. Teleport to the other side. Zippy is going to read that, but Burb has a good shot onto Sage. Rolling Thunder going out as well after the neural theft. They're going to know exactly where the breach is coming from either way. It doesn't really matter. But Stun's wearing out fast because of all the utility nerfs. And unfortunately, Rio Blurb teleports right into the sights of mine, and the teammate doesn't have too much success after that. And Ephrata, for the first time in a while, drop all their guns, all their bullets, and West Greene take a round.
Guess what? They're opting not to rebuy the Odins. Instead, we saw 3 operators for a second there. Yeah, I'm scratching my head on that one, but you can tell they're having fun with it. I think that's the right idea for them. They're in the lead, so they want to hold on to it, and 2 operators is a plenty fine way to do it, but it does seem like Rio Blur may be getting some sense talked into them, or maybe the devil on their shoulder is whispering, buy the Odin, and eventually it won out on top. 2 rounds to go in this half, and West Greene still have the chance for it. And Cherry J narrowly avoids getting hit by that kill contract, and it secures them a pickup frag there after onto the Sage of West Greene.
Oh, second up shot misses though, and Kebab stuck in the corner, barely misses on some clothesline, but they come back. All right, Radicus just wants more action, so gets shot out by the former. It's a bit of an awkward fight at the bottom of mid, but at this point, Ephrata pretty much know that West Greene are all holed up right beside that A site. But if this fight doesn't go their way, Twist is the one to do the job right now to try and keep them hemmed in. And it's just, okay, everyone just wants to duel. West Greene are content with taking the gunfights, but Ephrata are the one to win them out.
Last round.
That is finally the guarantor of a positive half of going not just breakneck even. And it required 20 kills at a Cherry J to get to this point. The rest of the team has done plenty fine. And honestly, I feel bad for Galaxy Walker. Well, not so much. They did steal that defuse from the wingman earlier, but I feel bad for them because it has been a total avoidance of this A site at a West Greene, which is the right idea for them. I don't know if this is a set in stone thing, but when you know there's a breach online, you want to avoid that site. But one of the best ways to deal with that is to get that player killed on their transition over towards being in post plant, so they can't use that utility in post plant. I guess an information from the shadows. Is this an eco round also from West Greene? Are they left with no credits to go in the final round of the half? This may be...
Oh, yeah. It's a little bit awkward. There are 2 Odins and then 2 Sheriffs on West Greene, so I'm not entirely sure what the buy is. But they're making the decision. That's fine. So far it seems to be working out pretty decently, honestly. They've gotten 3 kills so far in exchange for 1. Only Silverhand been taken off the board, but the decision has to be made and where site to go to, and it does look like they're choosing the right one. Both these final defenders over towards the B site, and West Greene opting for the plant on A. It's going to take quite a while from these final 2 from Ephrata to get back into the picture, but they do have Cherry J on the overdrive, so we've seen what they can do with it before. He just has to replicate the same success this round.
We got the speed. The retake chances for the A site are tough, especially if you're lacking that breach. Thrash goes forward, overdrive alongside it. Did they get detained? It doesn't seem like it, but that was speedy. They are making their way back towards site. Hit the tripwire, also slow orb. There's really nowhere for Cherry to go, and since Cherry used that ult so far back and the major nerfs that Neon has received, it makes it a lot harder to use that kit as a whole. Kebab, maybe they scrape away Radicus, but it's an Odin and Odin battle, and apparently Radicus just had the better angle because they took 0 damage against the Odin and Kebab got eviscerated by the Odin the other way. 7-5 our halftime score, slipping on over into our second half, and Ephrata has to go forward on the offense now, where yes, Cherry J already did good enough on the defense in the kill department. Now they're going to do this against the utility that West Greene have on board, and that Cypher already proved to be kind of an issue for post plants when West Greene had it on the B site and just there on A. How is it going to work when they can have those already set in stone early?
Yeah, now this is, I feel like this side favors both these teams, right? Both Ephrata wanted to go to the attack because they have double initiator. Both West Greene wanted to be on the defense because they have double sentinel. It's a bit weird because it's like Ephrata stole both initiators and West Greene stole both sentinels on their own side. So we'll see what team actually has the advantage going into the second half, because both teams are very, very comfortable so far. Cherry J walking straight up this B main, trying to knife this wall down. Should get it shortly. Expects maybe some kind of response from the other side, but waiting for the rest of the team to come through mid, I think is pretty smart, because Twist does get a kill, but as soon as the wall opens, Zippy just takes both of them out inside a main, only leaving Rio over there inside that B main. Quickly, this round has become a bit of a disaster for Ephrata.
All right, well, you've got a chance to quickly stall out the remaining pressure from the offense here. Galaxy Walker is just being sprinted at by Zippy, spamming their mouse button as quick as humanly possible. And West Greene will do what they did in that first half, secure the pistol round, and all but guarantee their second one thereafter. But this is where Ephrata could be a bit tongue-in-cheek and decide to go for a bit of a heavier buy to keep them honest. Defensively, it's not a terrible idea. You see it for a lot of attacking teams. If they do get spiked down, it gives you the extra credits. You do see them go for a buy to kind of meet and match and go for it, but yeah, we didn't see that coming out of them. So I wouldn't be shocked to see them hold back entirely, and the team to, you know, stop the devil on Cherry J's shoulders. Say, okay, we don't go crazy with a Bucky or a Judge here. We just go with Shorty, and you can get as close as you'd like, but you got to do so without losing your life. And unfortunately, mine has other things to say about it.
Yeah, Cherry has been the top frag so far for the team of Ephrata. Runs straight in to a gun. I don't think I'd ever thought myself of saying that line, but here we are, I guess, today. Only 4 remaining for Ephrata. I mean, they don't really seem like they want to be slowing down, but Rio does get a kill with a classic at the back of the site. Okay. Not entirely sure how this is happening right now, but Ephrata with a lower buy, temporarily having success, but Dane comes right through. And the Cypher, albeit nerfed, still is very, very useful with those tripwires. Does stop all of them in their tracks, and the Spectre is able to clean up.
Well, it's a tied series now, and when it's a BO1, that screams a bit more of a desperate measure for Ephrata to deal with that pressure now. They'll come in with rifles aplenty. One player with a Bulldog, but you want to make sure they have utility. Usually you go in with one player a little bit less than the others for rounds like this, and you still have to deal with the Odin threat in West Greene's hands, handed off towards Silverhand instead. We didn't see a lot of the Silverhand as that ISO in the first half, but you're treating the ISO as a utility duelist anyways, and that's where I'm more so concerned. Zippy is having to now... This is honestly the best slow I've ever seen coming out of a player, and it secures the first one. Why is Kebab the first one swinging that as well? But it secures domination for West Greene's hold to keep them off of B.
This isn't even a fast retake. There's no sight presence from the offense of Ephrata. It's only Galaxy left standing as the sole breach inside B main, and West Greene, they take some damage, but they don't lose any members. And like you said, maybe the planning from Ephrata not entirely on lock right now. They send Cherry J through mid, a couple rounds in a row, he just gets shut down immediately. They send the rest of the team through B, and the best slow of a century from Zippy, top frag for the side of West Greene as well, have been playing so good on their side and continuing their form on the defense with the bonus round 1 from West Greene.
Yeah, breaking the standard mold of the 2-1 split you see, and starting with a 3-0, and now if you're Ephrata, you just go Stingers and SMGs up and pray that this would be enough of a difference maker. You have a wingman as well there if you're Kebab that you could send out, and either they would plant the spike or they would stun out or force the line of sight elsewhere onto the wingman, right, of that Sage, but that didn't happen at all, and so now you've got a very unfortunate position where Ephrata once again lose out on a single player early, and they're forced to fall back away from the A main side, where a lot of West Greene are piling the pressure in. Connection from Rio Blur, but that's it for one. Zippy secures the frag to Cherry J down through top mid, and with the pressure coming from both directions, Kebab's life will be forfeited just as quickly, and it's just Galaxy Walker. And a 1v4 that seems nigh impossible, and they'll have a lot of utility, yes, they can use, but they are hemmed in between a literal rock and ice rock behind them, in a hard place being Mine's Phantom that barrages them immediately afterwards to secure the kill in the round for West Greene.
Man, that quick double take left is meme worthy right there. That is the saddest thing that you could possibly see if you're Galaxy Walker in that kind of scenario. You could walk through spawn is probably the best option for what to do there, but completely blocked off. Yeah, there's nothing really that they could have done. So nice try. West Greene so far have been very, very strong on this defense, and bringing it back to the point that you mentioned before, the Odins probably wouldn't have as much success on the offensive side as it would be on the defense. So West Greene are picking that right up, and they've got Mine and Radicus on both those machine guns on either side. They've got one through mid, and I think the other, where's Mine right now? He's sitting at A, which this time, unfortunately, doesn't have any targets because the entirety of Ephrata is running a mid-B splits. But this spike is still inside of mid. There's only Cherry here to defend Kebab, and so far on the second half, I don't even think Cherry's gotten a single frag.
Very dry. It's just the duelist department right now for Ephrata is struggling, but Cherry J does eat your words just a wee bit there, Anton, but not before getting taken down from your Boba players of West Greene. Zippy secures 2 in a row before falling, but it has been a Zippy showcase, it feels like, for the West Greene defense, and their defense is all but perfect. 5 in a row now. We only saw this come out of Ephrata's defense in the first half, and it wasn't right off the rip. We've now seen it from West Greene with 0 real good shots coming out of them so far on the attack, and that has to get quickly fixed. Maybe when the ultimates start to come online, that's the chance. We just saw one from Twist, and unfortunately, it didn't really come up with any major wonders for their side offensively.
And maybe they're trying to make some kind of adaptation, because they've been sending, well, first few rounds, they sent Cherry through mid alone, or through B elbow, and that didn't end up working out. This time, they're playing a little bit more together after a B split failed for them in the previous, but now they have the guns to work with, right? Cherry does just barely manage to get away from the Odin spray, and even Galaxy Walker with the lurk through mid on the breach, no less, out of all the characters that you could possibly take. Unfortunately for them, that success quickly dissipates as the machine guns chime back in kind on the site, and Dane, even running, completely deletes Rio. And everyone that was trying to push onto the actual A site has been taken out, and it's all up to Galaxy on that flank, but not able to find too much as Zippy has wrapped all the way around as well on that defensive side.
talked a little bit about how Lotus and Petal for our prior series, now it felt Petal to the metal to secure the ending of that series, entering into the second half. It feels like that's what we're seeing right now from West Greene. 6 in a row to their name. Keep in mind that round started 5-5, quickly became 3 versus 5, with Ephrata's offense being so far in the lead that we thought that for sure they would get the spike down and secure the victory. But then West Greene's remaining 3 went flawless up until that final frag from Galaxy Walker. But by then it felt like their position was guaranteed, and it was a close cut victory for West Greene to secure it. So many little things for Ephrata that just feels like they're missing out on small moments. Double slow orb coming out once again from Zippy, and they feel that pressure. But if you do see this attack start to stall here, they could use an ult to make some headway, and they do, and it makes good connection.
Yeah, everyone on the site is stunned. Cherry J able to get at least 1, and a second kill happening from Twisted. It wasn't even Cherry to secure that first. It was the Aftershock from Galaxy. So that's a very swift sight take. I mean, 20 seconds even if in this round. And I think Ephrata have just done it. There's only Mine left standing. He's got at least 1 target in the sights, but can't land enough shots as it's only the arm spotted. But Frio just decides to give him a free kill for some reason. There you go. Only 4 more left. Plenty of bullets left to do it. And Galaxy already low. Twist as well with low HP. There's 2 members on Ephrata that are barely standing. So if there's any round to clutch with this kind of gun, it would be this one. But Mine knows that the crossfire is a little bit too strong and decides to save a lot of money in their back pocket. 3,100 just in their hands alone. But no matter what, West Greene are actually able to buy. So this is only a little bit of a road bump. Ephrata, the first round that they have taken, and not even able to escape with all of their lives. And West Greene, for the first time in a while, have dropped one.
Yeah, and keep in mind that they have plenty of credits to buy. There was 0 question of them having credits to buy after 6 in a row. They weren't even losing those with like having 1 player left standing, having just 2 players left standing. They were winning most of those with having the majority of the team still up and running. So there is genuinely 0 need to hunt there if you're Ephrata for those players. You aren't going to destabilize that eco much more than you are going to do yourself in the process, right? So maybe a shortcoming there for Galaxy Walker trying to hunt for that one. I also think that Mine maybe could have swung for that one and actually gone for it. Keep in mind that your player Walker was sitting in the corner behind box. You had old box location that is no longer there, which would have been an easy route to crouch behind and take the shot to the inside cubby corner. But you know, it's neither here nor there, and it's a good chance for the Divider view to see maybe that would have been a little bit more manageable for Mine to try to go into. But it is still a first loss of life here for Mine. Who else of West Greene as the rush to the A site comes out from Ephrata. They'll get the spike down and get a second player to their name.
Maybe even trying to extend this single round streak that they have so far and maybe make it a streak. Because right now, I don't know how much we can call it that, but Zippy with a res. Radicus gets baited right there, but in turn, Kebab just the same as the Sage takes cover at the back of the site to allow the rest of his team to chime in. That's all at the silver hand. Last player on the scoreboard, last player to get taken down by the Omen on the offense. Ephrata with some nice shots, some very swift takes to that A site, and it looks like they finally found their form.
So many rounds lost, though, in a row, and the momentum was in West Greene's favor. They finally kick things back into high gear, and maybe that comes off the back of letting some of the players besides Cherry J pick up the frags in that department. There was a wide gap between your duelist and the rest of the team at the time. Since then, we've seen it slowly start to eke closer and closer, which is exactly what you'd love to see. Playing in a more even. A team that frags together, I love to say, wins together. We're seeing Ephrata get closer and closer to that being an option as they rush here to the A site once again, and no one's checking this inside lane into backside elbow. Yes, Radicus will eventually get the refrag, but West Greene are down 2 players now in this round, and they're very slow to move back in as the dark cover is laced perfectly from Radicus, and they've even used their strat step to get up above. And Mine, they need to be very wary of this angle. They know they're there. There's just nothing they can really do about it if they just can't check this angle in the Odin.
That's not sprayable, just barely. And now they know exactly what this Reyna is. It's all up to Zippy, really, to make this blindside happen. And at least start with 1, slow to the back of the site so Galaxy doesn't have a choice but to just sit there. I don't think they would want to get out anyways, but this high ground that Zippy is taking, I mean, this could be a hell of something, but not quite. Rio does shut them down, and perhaps needs to be the one to save the round. He's still up there. Mine has every idea. All he needs to do is peek, and he's got it. West Greene up to map points.
That is, you've known that player was there. You knew that they knew you were there. They sprayed you down before. You take the gamble that they would have fallen. They would have guessed you would have fallen, but it gets a little peek of that barrel. And that's the second time we've now seen Ephrata lose off of an intel battle where the barrel was the giveaway. It was Cherry J in like round 4 or 5. And it came off of the Odin being a little bit longer than they expected of the rifle department. And this time it comes off that Phantom from up above, just barely being spotted. A Phantom up above being barely spotted. No matter the case, it's now match and series points here, Anton, for West Greene. And you have plenty of ultimates if you're on Ephrata Esports. But are these ultimates going to be enough when you've not really found the best places to do so? And you're really just pounding the rock towards this A sites in hopes that it'll be enough to stop this West Greene defense, where you get the first blood, but you forfeit over that immediate kill back the other way. And Cherry J just can't ever find a lap of victory rushing through this outside elbow.
Not on this offense, not at all. And it's all down to the machine guns, but Silverhand with the lesser one even gets a kill. Twist trying to respond, and it's all down to the Sage on the other end. Zippy has been so good for their team. There is no res available right now, but there is the element of surprise until they finally show their shoulder. Twist now at 69 HP, has a lot of decisions to make, has a spike in their pocket, but can still opt to go towards B. Zippy is playing so safe. Jump peek even to make sure he's still here, hasn't moved, but they're just taking the fight. I'm surprised that Zippy's confident enough to just take this duel over and over again, but it's gonna pay off. Twist even has the ego to keep challenging that, and it doesn't end up working out. West Greene are the ones to close it 13-9.
That's exactly how you want to see it end if you're on the side of West Greene after a first half that did not go your way. You know, Sunset can be defender favorited, and you make sure that that screams true. And again, we see a player that was the highlight reel, right? Cherry J, 24 kills in 16. They were 20 kills in to the start at the end of that first half, and yet they were only able to get a couple into the second half. Their offense really struggled to make headway, and a lot of that's just going to come off of the decision making and the lack of utility for some of those. I don't think we felt enough of the presence from the breach to solidify those pushes into elbow. Didn't seem like there was really much connection against the defenders that were locking that down, and even when we did see it, there was the occasional kill that still crept through because the timing of when they would swing would be too obvious, and they would just start spraying, and connections get made when they do so because they were also wielding Odins. You opened that bag of worms, and they brought it out just the same, and it comes to very much so warrant that was Green's side a game in series victory.
Yeah, I think it was a valiant effort from Ephrata, but yeah, I think you put it perfectly. There was so disjointed right on that attack. Like, I think even on the defense, the game that we're playing was kind of just like they were just ego challenging everything, right? We're looking down mid with machine guns, looking down B with machine guns, and walking up A with two people with machine guns. And unfortunately on their offense, that just didn't really work out. And especially because, like I mentioned, it was just so disjointed. Yeah. Cherry was walking alone on most of the places. So I think, again, I never thought I would say this, but the fact that he's at the top of the scoreboard, the fact that he's been so mechanically proficient in this game, I think if they did have any of that semblance of coordination in the second half, where they threw him some flashes or some stuns or some any kind of support, heck, they had a Reyna on the team. There's some near sights. I know they're nerfed, but they still exist. I think they could have very easily taken this over the finish line, but instead we see West Greene say, anything you can do, we can do better. And that's exactly what they did. They pulled up the machine guns. Zippy didn't even need that, is able to top frag with rifles at the top of the scoreboard with a Sage, no less. So having the res over and over again was very useful for them as well. But just overall, I think West Greene played both teams. I think both teams had their own strengths, but West Greene played Valorant, and they played it beautifully.
Yeah, I agree. I think West Greene, their agent selection, I think, was a little bit subpar in comparison to what you're expecting as a default for Sunset. But we didn't see the agent selection coming the other way for Ephrata, which we were saying was, hey, they've got the better agent select, arguably for Sunset as kind of your meta choices. They weren't using it in the meta ways, which then created this power gap, this big dynamic between the two. And for West Greene, you fulfill that role perfectly. Your defense comes through as a powerhouse, and that momentum, I think, is the big thing. The momentum and the presence that you showed was enough to throw them off to both sides having to test the waters, and they weren't finding any real luxury on either one of them, and they have to wash their hands of it, unfortunately, with a loss here in, what is this, week 5 now for them, and they won't be able to get that victory under their belt. But a great series nonetheless, and I think when you VOD review this one, because I think no matter what level you play at, you should VOD review your games. You will improve rapidly. I think that they will have even more room for growth here, especially in a map as difficult as Sunset can be. It's still in the pool. You want to make sure you know how to play it. Go for it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, I still think we had two great games, right? First game ended up with an absolute banger, and then the second game was decently close, so Ephrata making a fight for it, but West Greene just punching right back. It's been a great day. My name has been Anton, and of course, Infernosis has been lovely casting with you again. And behind the scenes, we've had High Tech Low Life, our amazing producer observer combo that has been bringing you guys this entire stream. We'd literally not be here without him. So, especially without you guys as well. Without you guys watching in the audience, I don't think we have a reason to be doing these streams. So appreciate you guys being here and supporting all these teams playing so far. And we'll see what happens in the future weeks. We get into, I think we're getting close to closing up the season. We only have like half a month to a month remaining. So it's going to be Christmas break fairly soon, Infernosis.
Yeah. The high school students can be real excited for Christmas. Come back round the bend, and you get more presents under those trees. Maybe you'll get yourself a what is it? Is it Valorant coins? What is it we call it in Valorant?
I don't remember. VP, something like that.
Is it VP?
I think,
it's too close to VP.
I think it's VP.
I just don't want to call it that. Maybe you'll get a little gift card for some riot tokens to get that new skin you were pining for. Or maybe it'll be an Overwatch skin, because we did have an Overwatch player earlier today. But no matter the case, the holidays are up and coming, and I'm sure everybody's excited.
Yeah, so once again, thank you everyone in the audience for watching, and we'll see you guys next week for some more Valorant. There's of course stuff happening for the rest of the week as well. TEC runs streams every single day, and I'm sorry that I'm not as proficient as the rest of the closers, but they know what games there are. I'm pretty sure that it can be found on the TEC website, but for any of you curious, I mean, just subscribe, just literally click the bell so you get notified every single time a TEC channel goes live. So without further ado, we'll let you guys go have some dinner, play some ranked games or something like that, whatever you guys want to do. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys either tomorrow or next week, next Wednesday.
Don't wait for tomorrow. The moment is now. With a heart full of thunder, don't ask why or how. In the ruins of glory, find your ticket to ride. It's a roller coaster, baby. Buckle up for the ride.